Hello, we come to you today from beautiful Northeast Ohio, and it is a beautiful fall day in Northeast Ohio. Even though it is mid-November, the temperature is in the 60s and the sun is shining. Hasn't rained in about a week. I do think some rain's going to come tomorrow, and that's probably going to be the beginning of the end. So it's time for us, like the animals, to head south for the winter. So I'm going to be driving the Ford F-150 Lightning from here in Northeast Ohio down to Southwest Florida to Sanibel Island. It's going to be a long trip, and we have to take all of our stuff with us because we're getting ready for a new adventure this spring. And for that adventure, we need all of our camping equipment with us. So we've got the frunk is full, the bed is full, and the e-bikes are on the receiver hitch. So we're going to try our route down Interstate 77 through West Virginia. We know that's a problem because there's a lack of DC fast charging infrastructure. There's only one in West Virginia. It's not even that fast, and it's at a car dealership, which I try to avoid. But I have found a new charger just off the route in Gallipolis, Ohio, not sure which. And we're gonna give that one a try. I try to avoid car dealership chargers because I've been to them where they are blocked by cars. They won't let people use them. If the dealership's closed, they won't let you use it. So the one in Gallipolis is at City Hall. So I'll be going there and charging, and I may check the one out in Charleston at the car dealership just to see what its setup is for future needs. But at least this gets us something for now. So come along with us.
Welcome back to E-Hermes, your electric adventure travel channel. Please remember to subscribe, hit the like button, and hit that bell button to be notified of our upcoming content.
All right, we are on our way, and it remains a beautiful sunny day. Unfortunately, this time of year, though, no matter how nice the day is, it's going to be short because the sun just sets so soon, especially with the end of daylight savings time. So it's going to be getting dark around 6 o'clock. Our first stop is going to be Cambridge, Ohio, and that is where we will charge at the Walmart Supercenter, at the Electrify America charger. And now that's where we've run into problems before, where not at that location, but the next location is Whiteville, Virginia. I believe it's 262 miles away and through the mountains on the West Virginia Turnpike. It's doable because I did it once, but I had to charge to 90-some%, and I think I got to Whiteville with between 2 and 5%. So it's doable. I had to slow down a little bit too. But today we're going to try something new. There's a charger in the town of Gallipolis. Somebody help me out. Tell me how you pronounce that. Ohio, just right on the Ohio River. It's probably about 30 miles off the highway, so it is a little bit out of the way. But we're going to charge in Cambridge to 80% when the speed starts dropping off. Then we'll make that quick stop there, and then we'll head on to Whiteville. So I'm hoping to get there before dark, but I kind of have my doubts. We'll certainly be to Cambridge before dark. Not so sure about Whiteville. Here we are at the Cambridge, Ohio Electrify America charger at the Walmart Supercenter. 4 stations. Number 1 is down. Saw that on the app. There's a Chevy Bolt charging at station 1. I'm on station 2, getting 170 kilowatt speed, so that's pretty good. We got here with 43%, so we're not going to be here long. Perhaps could have even skipped it, but I have to go to the bathroom, so I'm going to go in and do that, and then we'll be back on the road. Had what I believe to be some engineers pull up in a camouflage Cadillac something as I was leaving. Actually used my spot. Also got a Nissan Leaf charging an EV America, first time I've ever seen it. So they're out doing some road tests on some future Cadillac vehicle. They came along with this Lyric as well. They're in the same group. So they're out trying something out at the Cambridge, Ohio Electrify America station. We had a really good charging session there at the Cambridge, Ohio Electrify America station, where we saw the camouflaged up Cadillac something or another to be in the future. Interesting to see what that is when it comes out. Looks kind of sporty, but it's pretty good size still. Anyhow, we stayed there a little longer than I was going to because I was getting such great speeds. I was actually getting up to 176 kilowatts. Towards the end, as we got towards 80%, it was down to about 120, but held steady at 120 for quite a while too. So once we got to 80, I knew it would drop down below 100, so we went ahead and unhooked and got on our way. Let that camouflage Cadillac sneak in there and use our station because one of them was down. So now we're headed to Gallipolis, Ohio. Gallipolis, not sure. Anyhow, We will hopefully have dinner there and do a rather lengthy charge. So that's only a 62.5 kilowatt hour charge point charger in that town. And then I'm probably going to stop and see the one at the car dealership in Charleston, West Virginia, because I think I'll be driving right by it. I just want to see how accessible it is, if it's really something I need to worry about, or if it's something I should be using on a regular basis, because it is a little closer to the highway than the one in Gallipolis, whatever. We have arrived at the charge point stations in Gallipolis. We're going to find out. I'm going to go to a restaurant. I'm going to find out from somebody how you pronounce the name of this town. But we have arrived. Only one station, I believe, works. And I think it's station 2. And hopefully this is station 2. So here we go. Let's find out. Since we drove all the way here to get to the, what I'll call a backup charger off the main route, I'm going to go ahead and stay here long enough that I can skip the ones in Charleston, West Virginia, that I don't need to stop at them. I probably will stop to look at them, but I don't want to have to stop. So we're going to stay here for about an hour. That's going to give me time to go to a sit-down restaurant and have something to eat. And I'll be back on our road, and our next real charging stop will be Wytheville, Virginia. I need to get to 80% or 82%, and that should take just about an hour. There are the chargers, and there is the Lightning currently charging. And just this close is the back entrance to Courtside Bar and Grill, where I had a nice burger and a brew, and now we are ready to get back on the road. I think we're up near 80%. When we get to 80 or 82%, we will take off, and I think we're already there. Maximum speed on this charger is 62.5 kilowatts. We got almost 60, all the way up to 80%. Now that we're above 80%, we're down to 56.2. We're gonna go ahead, unhook, and get back on the road. Not a fan of this. They charge you for the usage, which is fine, but then they charge you a parking fee on top of that. Not while you're idling after you're done, but while you're actually using it. That seems unfair. I had enough power to get to Wytheville, but I wanted to check these chargers out because in the future, this is what I'd like to use. So this is Joe Holland Hyundai. They have two ChargePoint 62.5 kilowatt chargers. This one in the parking lot is unfortunately has a communication problem and does not work. It's not blocked by vehicles. I know it looks like it is, but it isn't. But the one here by the showroom does work, and I'm actually using it just to prove that it works. So next I'm going to find Ostog Auto, which I think is the other place in Charleston that's supposed to have charging. I was able to locate the single charger at Astorg Motors, Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Land Rover. They got them all. But knowing now that there's these two dealerships that have them both available, they're both fairly public, it looks like they would be easy to access even if the dealerships weren't open. In the future, I will not hesitate to make this stop to cut that trip between Cambridge and Wytheville, Virginia, roughly in a half, and provide plenty of ease to get between the two. The rest of the trip then is pretty straightforward going down to Florida. The charging in Gallipolis, which is, well, I'm told how you pronounce it, must have gone faster than the truck expected. When I first got off the highway to head over there, it said I would get to Sanibel at 7:01 p.m., and now says 6:45 p.m. So I actually picked up 16 minutes, and that's with driving all the way to Gallipolis and stopping at the other two chargers just to see how they worked. So I don't think it was really a waste of time, and I'm glad that I learned what I learned, that until the state of West Virginia gets some really super fast DC fast chargers, these two stations in Charleston at the two car dealerships are going to have to be sufficient to get us from northern Ohio down to Florida. It's interesting to note, I know there's a Tesla supercharger in Charleston, but I believe it is a version 1 or 2, and I do not believe it will be eligible for use with the F-150 Lightning in the spring when we make that transition, unless they update the chargers by then. A little bit of wildfire action going here in West Virginia. It's kind of all around me. Never really been in a wildfire before, I don't believe. It's all around on the east side of the highway. Several different, oh, there's a tree still burning. Several different areas where it was burning. Here we are at the Electrify America at the Sheetz gas station in Wytheville, Virginia. Made it here easily with 9%. We're gonna charge here. I think our next stop after this is either Statesville or Charlotte, North Carolina. And do you see that on top of the hill? That is Bojangles. I'm a big Bojangles fan. So we're gonna go up there and see if they're still open. It's a little after 10. Let's see what kind of speed we're getting. We're getting 160. Nothing wrong with that. We left Wytheville, Virginia at 80%. We drove all the way through the rest of Virginia and then all the way through North Carolina. And now we're into South Carolina where we finally stopped at the EV Go, just across the border south of Charlotte. I don't know the name of the town. And we'll be here for a few minutes, and then we will be headed to Columbia, South Carolina. And then I have to figure out my route from there because I'm going to do something differently than what all the GPS says. Uh-oh, that's always problems. I'm going to make my own route over to 75 so I avoid Jacksonville, Florida. I've already missed Atlanta, Georgia, so that's good. And Charlotte I went through in the middle of the night, so there was no traffic. So we're doing good traffic-wise, and we will be heading to Columbia, South Carolina next. Here I've got the screen up, so this charger's nice. We're getting 165 as you saw, and as you see again. The nice thing about these chargers is Electrify America chargers, it's one or the other. Another car could be over here on the A side charging, getting the same speeds. So this is really nice. There's nobody here, of course, in the middle of the night, but if there were more crowded, it wouldn't be a problem if there were other people here using the same cabinet. I have changed my mind. I was going to go to Columbia, South Carolina, which is here, and then cut down through Augusta, Georgia, over here, and try to get over 75. But since it's dark anyhow, it's not going to be very scenic. I'm not going to see much, and there wouldn't be much traffic anywhere, so there certainly won't be much traffic on I-95, which was my concern. So I'm gonna go back to what the route guidance is suggesting, although we're gonna skip this one. We're going to we're gonna go to this one. We're gonna get enough charge there that we can skip this one because it's way off the route, and then get down to here to Pooler, Georgia, just outside Savannah. Here we are outside Columbia, South Carolina at the, of course, Walmart Supercenter. Electrify America chargers. Didn't really want to stop at this one, but the way the spacing worked out, I just need a little bit more to get to Pooler, Georgia. So we're only going to be here maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll be back on the road, headed for Pooler, Georgia next. We're getting really great speeds here, and it's really nice driving through the night like this because there's nobody at any of these chargers I've been to. So the charging session on this trip, knock on wood, there's a tree here somewhere I'll have to knock on, seems to be going very well. I've had only excellent experiences. I think I only saw 1 or 2 chargers that were down, but there was plenty of extra capacity. And we're getting good speeds at all of them, or at least as much as we can expect from the designated chargers. We arrived at the Walmart with the Electrify America chargers in Pooler, Georgia with 9%. We're going to stay here a long time. I'm actually going to crawl in the back seat and try to get a little nap. And hopefully we'll be 80-90% when I wake up in maybe an hour or so. Maybe even 100%. Dawn has broken, although it is a chilly, damp, drizzly dawn. We slept, I slept for about an hour. We got up to 92%. So we're going to go ahead and take off. And I'm not sure where our next stop is. Once the truck updates, I'll decide where we're going to stop next. It'll probably be in Florida, though. It'll either be in Jacksonville or just west of Jacksonville on I-10, heading over to I-75. Yes, indeed, the next charging stop is Jacksonville, Florida here. Then it wants me to go down and go through Orlando, and I have absolutely zero interest in driving in Orlando traffic on a Friday before a holiday. No, thank you. So I'll be coming over on I-10 to Route 301, doesn't show up on the map here. It'll take me down to Ocala, where I'll join up with Interstate 75 and take that the rest of the way to Fort Myers and ultimately on to Sanibel. As I mentioned, the truck's navigation wanted me to come down through Jacksonville, down south of there, and then head over through Orlando, which I am absolutely not doing. I also don't want to take 10 all the way across the 75 because that's too far. I've used this route before. We're going to take this 301 down to Ocala, where it gets real close to 75, and we'll jump over on that then. So we had to charge because the charger that they wanted me to go to was down here. We're going to charge here at this Florida Power and Light charger. We have almost 50% now. We only need about 70%, so this is going to be a real short charge before we head over towards Ocala on Federal Route 301. Here we are at the Bushnell, Florida Electrify America station at Walmart Supercenter, of course. At one time I thought I was going to have to stop in Gainesville. It's a good thing I didn't, because every one of the chargers at that Electrify America station is down. The entire station is unusable, which is really pretty unexcusable, I have to say. It's one thing when the one's got this, one of these has low power, another one might be working, but if you got one or two working, you may have to wait a little bit, but at least you're not stranded. To have one that's completely, the entire station is down, is just not acceptable. And I will say that the good news is there are so many more stations now that you're not so reliant on Electrify America on a road trip like you used to be, at least in most areas. There are still a few areas, particularly out west, where any one station is pretty critical, but I like these Florida Power and Light stations. I've charged at EV Go, I've charged at Shell Recharge. Not sure I did on this trip, but I like the different variation of stations that are available. Now, we're gonna try something here. It says I have 204 miles of range at 90%. It is 203 miles to Sanibel Island. Let's see if we make it. Actually, by the time I got in the truck, I see it is 209 miles. 203 miles to go, so a 6-mile buffer, that's like 2%, that's plenty. And the map says we have plenty of range as well, so I don't think we're gonna have any problems. Hopefully we don't run out of juice on the Sanibel Causeway with all that traffic. There is the Sanibel Island Lighthouse. It may be down one leg after Hurricane Ian, but it's still standing. And that means we did in fact make it to Sanibel Island. We actually arrived with 39 miles of range, 18% on the battery. The trip altogether was 1,296 miles, and we averaged 2.0 miles per kilowatt hour. The charging could not have gone any better on this trip, at least until we got to Florida, where we ran into some problems, but they were minor and did not affect us in any way. So we hope you enjoyed this 28-hour straight trip from Northeast Ohio to Sanibel, Florida, and showing all the charging that we did along the way. If you did, please hit the like button. As always, please subscribe, and please hit that bell button to be notified of our upcoming content. Thank you!